Welcome to another episode of Agri-innovate. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of fish farming. My Q and I visited Mr. Ikulugan's farm, where he specializes in two amazing breeds of catfish, Heterobranchus and Claras, which is locally known here as Storier and Mono. Starting at the very beginning, the hatchery. In this episode, we'll learn all about how he manages the hatchery, from breeding to producing healthy fingerlings. And trust me, this is where the magic begins and you don't want to miss it. So come along as we step into the farm and uncover all the exciting details. The show that brings the vibrant world of agriculture straight to your screen. From the latest in sustainable techniques to family-run farms that have stood the test of time, and where every harvest tells a story. Join us as we bring you the untold stories of the hardworking farmers and agripreneurs who feed Bayelsans. Ready to see where your food really comes from? Agri-innovate. We have the CEO himself, Mr. Ikulugan, right here with us. You're welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you very much.
It's good to have you here. And just I'm actually excited because I look forward and we all look forward to hearing and learning a whole lot. So first of all, we'd like to know, can you take us through the process of catfish hatching from fertilization to the hatching itself?
Yes, when you want to hatch, the first thing you do is to look for the broodstock, the male and female broodstock. What we mean by that is that those fish mothers and fathers that you can use for production, those mothers, parents, stock that you can use for production is what's called the broodstock. You look for the broodstock. Having find the broodstock by inspection, then you proceed to the next stage. What do we mean by inspection? Inspection in the sense that you have to look for matured female and matured males. How do you know that the male is matured? We want to talk about hatching. I said we go to the broodstock, and I'm talking about the broodstock. How you will look at the broodstock and you will know that yes, this one is good to go for your work. So when you look at the male, you will look at the production organ, the penis. If it's struck out and at the end you have a red coloration, then you know that that male is with mature spermatozoa. In production, what we are striving to do is to make the gametes of the male and the female to meet fertilization. A process called what? Fertilization. So how do you ordinarily look at the male and know that the male is with matured spermatozoa? I told you, look at the spongy protrusion called the penis. If there is a red coloration at the end of the penis, then you know that that one is matured. Then you select that one and keep for the male. Then the other inspection for the female is to use matured egg. To use what? Matured egg. We have premature and we have overmature. We have the eggs that are working towards maturity. We have the eggs that have walked away from maturity. So when you inspect and you assured yourself that you have gotten matured egg, then you go to the next item. But let's look at what eggs are called matured eggs. How do you know that these eggs are matured? That is the idea of the producer. That is the idea on production. can you identify matured egg? If you go to a farm to buy broodstock, especially the female, can you identify that the eggs are matured? Yes. You will do that by either you use a straw to penetrate through the vulva and bring out the egg, or you massage a little, not with force, a little, and the eggs will come out. Then you inspect those eggs. You inspect those eggs by feeling. By feeling. If you feel and you have this gritting effect of the eggs want to bulge out, want to push your hands back, then the eggs are mature. But if you feel and you find out that the eggs, just as if it is just pomade, it's not bulging out, then it means that the egg is not matured. Either it is reversing, that is over matured, or is premature. Another inspection is for you to break the egg and see if you have a pop sound. You break the egg a little, and if there is a pop sound, then you know that the egg is mature. What did I say? It is bulging your hand and there is a pop sound. Identification for what? Maturity. Identification for what? Maturity. Then the next stage, as I was saying, the next stage is for you to induce, because you are now forcing the fish to deliver. So there will be inducement, an injection, a hormone which you will inject into the fish. And that hormone will stay for 12 hours. 12 hours. Some may come earlier, between 9 and 12, or between 9 and 13 hours. If there's a delay, if it is in the Amateur time, a period like this, it will stay for 13 hours. If there is cold, we will come to conditions of achieving, yes, we will mention cold again. If there is cold, what happened? It will stay longer. That's what I'm trying to say. If there is cold, it will stay longer than 12 hours. But if there is heat, it will stay lesser than 12 hours. But the ideal period of time is what? 12 hours. So if you inject 9 o'clock, you will spawn. We will explain what spawning means. We will spawn 9 o'clock in the morning. If you inject 10 o'clock in the evening, we will spawn 10 o'clock in the morning. If you inject, and the practice of time of injection depends on the farm. And it depends on the activities of the producer. Perhaps the producer is a working class. Perhaps the producer has some other things to do. He may inject a time where he will wake up about 5 o'clock and do his rituals. If the producer is engaged in one thing or the other, he can adjust. So there's no specific time of saying that we will inject by 9 o'clock in the evening and spawn out. No, that depends on the activities of the producer. The activities of the producer will determine when he is going to do his work. But like I said, 12 hours for the injection. The hormone will work within 12 hours. If by 12 hours and you massage and the egg did not come out, it means that either there's no egg or there is a complication. Either there's no egg or there is what? A complication. So those are the things that will guide you to hatch. Those are the things that will guide you to hatch, to identify matured egg. After identification of the matured egg, what you will do next is to bring a hormone and inject. The hormone is measured. Are you hearing me?
Yes, sir.
The hormone is measured according to the size of the fish, according to the weight of the fish. You know, size depends on weight. As bigger the fish become, so heavy the fish become. But the hormone is in milliliters, and the weight of the fish is in kilograms or grams. So, supposing you have a 3 kg fish, how many millimeters of the hormone will you use in injecting this fish for easy spawning? For the eggs, spawning means the eggs coming out. Half of the size of the fish, half of the weight of the fish. When we talk about size, we also mean what? Weight. Half of the weight of the, so if it is a 3 kg fish, you will absorb, you will use your syringe and absorb 1.5. If it is a 4 kg fish, you use your syringe and absorb what? 2. If it is a 1 kg fish, you use your syringe and absorb what? 0.5 liters of milliliters of the hormone. This hormone, let's talk a little about the hormone. This hormone, they come in 3 types, or even more. They come in 3 types. What we use here basically are 3 types. We have what we call ovulin, we have what we call ovatite, and we have what we call ovaprime. Personally, I like using the ovulin. Why? Because the ovulin is readily available. It's almost there in every store that is aquatic based. 2, it's cheap. 3, it does the work perfectly. It does the work very well, very well. So I use ovulin. In case I want to hatch heterobranchus, in case I want to hatch heterobranchus, usually I go for ovaprime, because heterobranchus is always heavy. Maybe the least we use is 3 kg. Maybe the least you use is 3 kg. I'm not saying that it is only 3 kg heterobranchus that you use. Maybe the least you will use is 3 kg. And if you use ovaprime of 1.5 milliliters, what will happen is that the injection of the ovaprime will quickly allow spawning on time. We quickly allow spawning to go on, while the ovulin will waste some time. But if it is Clarias gariepinus, that you are using, then ovulin is well suited, because it will give you maximum result. Maximum result in quotes. It will give you maximum result. So you inject the fish with the hormone and you wait for 12 hours. When you wait for 12 hours, what happens? You must have prepared your beds. You must have prepared your beds where you will lay the eggs. How? After 12 hours, you will go for massaging. As you touch, the egg will freely come out on its own. And so, after the egg, now before even you start to touch, you prepare the milk. The milk is the spermatozoa. How? Here in Africa and in Nigeria, you dissect the male. That is, you kill the male. You dissect the male. Of course, by dissecting, you are actually killing the male. You dissect the male and bring out the spermatozoa. And then you use the blade in tearing the sac of the spermatozoa. The sac that contains the spermatozoa. And when you tear it, you now pour it in a cup container. And then you add saline water. Let's talk about saline water. Saline water, you can get it, you can buy it from the store, or you can prepare yourself. Just buy salt, Get pure water. Put the salt into the pure water. Taste it. And if you have that slapping over of the salt, the slapping over of the salt, that is that water, there is salt over, then it's fixed. Then you pour the milk into that water, and then you keep it. That is the male spermatozoa have been prepared. Then the female, you massage it, and then the eggs will come out. Then you use the milk that you are prepared, that is the male spermatozoa, you pour it into and you stir. You stir for 3 minutes to 5 minutes. You stir it for 3 minutes to 5 minutes. When you stir and you are certain that that milk has touched every egg, the waiting of 3 minutes to 5 minutes is for the milk to touch every egg. Then you go to your bed, that is your hatchery now, and then which you have put and you have cleaned a net. You spread the net, and then you pour the egg. You spread so that the egg will not heap on each other. You spread on the mat so that one egg will not stay on top of another, will not heap on each other. Heaping will impart hatchery, because it's like they are dragging to hatch out. And remember that they are veinless. They don't have any spine. So any pressure, any small pressure will hinder them from hatching. Like the condition, we come to that. We hinder them from hatching. So you don't allow the eggs to stay on top. Spread it so much so that it's like one egg, one place, one egg, one place, evenly on your washed mash. Then leave it for 24 hours. The ejection of the hormone, we said what? 12 hours. The spreading of the egg, the time of the egg to hatch from spreading to hatching is what? 24 hours. You leave it for 24 hours. And when you leave it for 24 hours, some will hatch early, 20 hours. Some will hatch early, 19 hours. Some will hatch early, 23 hours. But the maximum it can go is what? 24 hours. Now, a caution. There is a caution there. You don't leave the egg to hatch for all the time. That is 24, 26, 20. No. What happened? The backs of the egg that the zygote came out from is rotting. Oh, the back of the egg that the zygote came out from is rotting. That back of the eggs, they are called cacabans. The cacabans, the cacabans is rotting. So if you allow the cacabans to rotten with the hatchlings, what happened?
Police the water.
Because the cacabans are fermenting. Fermentation needs more oxygen than the hatchlings will struggle to get. And so what? You are depriving the hatchlings from oxygen. So what happens?
There is no oxygen.
They suffocate. They suffocate and die. It will appear as if the egg are not matured or wanting, but because the cacabans are fermenting, and fermentation need more oxygen than the ones that the hatchlings will be able to absorb. So you quickly remove, even or if you observe that the eggs are not, they've not finished hatching, you quickly remove the cacabans and even put it in another pond for it to continue hatching. so that the fermentation in that new pond that you are putting them for it to continue hatching, the water become fresh, and there are a lot of DO, dissolved oxygen, DO, dissolved oxygen, a lot of dissolved oxygen in that one. So it appears it's starting afresh altogether to hatch. And so it gives you result. Okay. It gives you result there, it gives you result here. So when you're hatching, prepare 2 ponds where you will carry the cacabans and continue hatching. Okay? And so what come out as zygote, in fishery we call it hatchlings. We call them what? Hatchlings. They just come out from the egg in which it was holding them. And that process of coming out from the egg is what we call hatching. Hatched. So that is the beginning of hatching, and that is the end of hatching.
So once the fish has been hatched, how do you now maintain the water quality and the hatchlings?
Good question. How do we maintain the hatchlings? If you have to sell fingerlings, then you have to have a product. If you don't have the product, no sales for you. All the money you spend buying hormone, buying broodstock, and doing hatchling ponds and all that is in vain. So yes, we need to maintain the hatchlings so that we can sell and be in market and be a fish farm. So one, like I said before, remove the cacabans on time. Don't wait until all hatch. Remove the cacabans on time and put it in a fresh hatching pond. Okay. 1. 2, look at the water quality. You have a pH scale, which from time to time you dip into the water to see the pH. pH means how acidic or how alkalinity the water is. pH means the measurement of acidity and the measurement of alkalinity. Okay. So you now from time to time you dip in your pH scale to know the pH of the water. If you find out that the pH is so low, that is acidic, you throw in anhydrous salt. You throw in a little anhydrous salt. How much anhydrous salt you will throw in depends on your work experience. Depends on your work experience. And how low is the pH of the water? That is, you are trying to maintain the pH of the water. So maintenance of the pH of the water, removing of the cacabans, and making sure that the water runs, flow through, if possible circulate. If possible circulate. Why am I saying if possible? Circulation needs an engine, a pumping machine to carry the water to where it will come back again. Circulation needs a pumping machine to carry the water to where it will come back again. Circulate or allow the water to flow through all the time. In that case, the DO is maintained. DO means dissolved oxygen is maintained. So maintenance of DO, removing of cacabans, measuring of the pH, and of course in the first place, cleanliness of the pond. The pond must be clean and be fresh. Before you even start to hatch, the pond must be clean and be fresh before you even start to hatch. The cleaning can be with Omo, with salt, can be with Omo, with salt, and then good water, whose pH is maybe 5.4, 5.8, 5.6, 5 point and above. Anything below 5 point, then the amount of anhydrous salt you will put will be higher. Of course, it will not be iron-bound water. It will not be, for hatching, it will not be iron-bound water. Because what happened? If the hatchlings comes out, like I told you, it's without a spine, it's without veins, it's without nothing. So any drug you put there will not circulate in the body of the hatchlings. So if we have iron-bound water, the iron will click as its tentacles. And once the iron click at the tentacles, what happens? The fish will suffocate and die. So those are the things you must ensure for you to have fingerlings to sell. Circulation of the water, circulation of carcass removal, anhydrous application, and anhydrous application of the water, testing of the water. There's what we call sorting. There is what we call sorting. Sorting is to pick out the fish and arrange them in their size. Let the people that have the same strength. Sorting means that you are taking the fish that have the same strength and putting it one place. So that as they are struggling to eat the food, they are struggling with what? Equal strength. As the food, you introduce the food from the producer, they are struggling to eat the food with equal strength. What if they don't struggle with equal strength? Definitely the bigger ones
We eat more.
will eat more. Or the bigger ones will even wait for the smaller one to go to eat the food, and then they swallow the cannibalism. They swallow the smaller ones.
So within fish, there's cannibalism.
Catfish is a cannibal. Is a carnivorous animal. Catfish is a carnivorous animal. He knows that God has it to him that he feeds on the flesh, and the flesh enable it, because the flesh with complete diet enable it to grow faster. And the more faster it grows, the more cannibalistic it becomes. The more militant it becomes. It becomes a militant within the camp. So, sorting. You must sort your fish every 1 week. Or as you view that you have bigger hatchlings, you arrange them. Sorting means arranging them of equal size on the same place. So this pond you sort and put people that have equal size. This pond and that is to be done every 4 days. Every 4 days. Here that you think that you put smaller one, you have seen the ones that are big. Here that you feel the people are equal, you have seen the ones that. So you are rearrange and then group them. So sorting is also a control measure for you to get hatchlings.
Welcome to Agri-innovate, the show that brings the vibrant world of agriculture straight to your screen. From the latest in sustainable techniques to family-run farms that have stood the test of time, and where every harvest tells a story. Join us as we bring you the untold stories of the hardworking farmers and agripreneurs who feed Bayelsas. Ready to see where your food really comes from? Agri-innovate.